Hello and welcome to my video blog where I talk about colored pencils, art in general, and about my job as an online art teacher and fine artist. Last time when I vlogged, it was October, and back then I hoped that winter wouldn't be so hard this year in Finland. But now the snow has come, and usually here in southern Finland we usually are pretty excited about whether we get snow for Christmas or not, and this time there's definitely snow. Winter sceneries have been beautiful this year. If I would invite all of you around the world here in Finland, you would be amazed. You could see how beautiful the sky is and how wonderfully lit everything is. So that has inspired me in creating art too. For example, I've drawn this kind of winter angel and put a lot of snow there as a decoration for the dress. I have instructions for these winter angels on my blog. Even if I haven't blogged on video for a long time, I do blog every week and I create written blog posts. So there are step-by-step instructions for creating a winter angel. It can be less detailed than this one. I show how to make a simple sketch and then put your own thing there. And from this project, of course, my mind goes to the next thing, which is Doll World, my new class, which has been now opened for registration. So the class begins on 1st of January and lasts the whole spring or the whole first 5 months of the next year, and we will be creating this kind of paper dolls in colored pencils. I will put an introductory video here. The idea for this class came from the old illustrations, where human figures and poses were not always anatomically perfect, but they were still tenderly beautiful. In this course, I invite you to build a world that may start as a secret. But this secret world, like anything in art, has the potential to grow into full bloom when you just keep drawing. this class, I thought that one of the basic needs in creating art is to create human figures. Even if I paint mostly abstract, I usually never paint humans when I'm working with oil paints, I still want to see a human face appearing on paper once in a while. And I think that everybody of us has some percentage of fine artists who is more into expressing emotion and expressing that in an abstract way. And then some percentage of an illustrator who wants to see concrete stuff and who wants to create, human figures too. But often the courses are about drawing a human face, and I wanted to go a bit further to express the human figure so that there's a full body. Because there are some things that are missing when you draw just faces. You miss the joy of drawing clothing. The clothing doesn't, like in this snow angel, the clothing doesn't have to be just, fabric and such. It can be all kinds of mini worlds that form the dress, and you can be really creative with those dresses, and you can insert the whole world there. And even if you would just expand the figure so that the hands are visible, so this one doesn't have any lower body but only the hands and the upper part of the body, you can still express so much more. The pressure for facial features decreases a lot when you have the full body for expressing the message. And you can even create some small ones. So here's my little Christmas girl, really small. But I would actually recommend starting a little bigger because it's so much easier to put all the details there. So I wanted to create a course where we draw figures so that they have all the fancy dresses and they have all the hand gestures and feet and different kind of poses, so that some are running or flying and some figures stand still. I think this is a really fun class, this doll world, and we of course create all kinds of small stuff too, so that you can also create decorations on their own too. So I think this looks lovely, this ice flower with the snow angel too. And we will only have one lesson per month. There are several projects, but you can decide how you divide your time and which projects you want to create. And we will also have a Facebook group where we can connect and where you can ask for feedback and ask for comments and just share, just for the pure joy of sharing. When I was a child, Christmases always felt so magical. Our family wasn't very wealthy. We lived in eastern Finland. It was usually really cold. Things were quite simple. We made almost everything ourselves. And yet, when I think about Christmases, it kind of feels like everything was so beautiful and magical. So my parents and my older sisters did a very good job of protecting me from all the worries and such. It just felt a magical time. I hope that this time is also something that makes you think about your childhood and pick things from there that inspire you today too. I think that there's nothing wrong about picking things that are good and pleasant. And when we create, then maybe the other stuff comes up too. But You know, when we do that by creating, I believe that it's a sort of soft way of getting the foundation of who we are. I firmly believe it's really important to draw and paint. For me, drawing always comes first, because I think that everything starts from a line. Then everything else is built after that. Maybe I think so because my style has developed in that way, that line has always been important to me. But I see that an easy and intuitive way to fall in love with your art. Because, you know, even if you would do just some random lines, you can always think about them as a little miracle, as your sort of signature thing. And the so small change from writing to drawing, and then from drawing to coloring, and then from coloring to painting. And this kind of evolution is something that happens naturally when you just start drawing. So I want to encourage you to start drawing and start coloring and start believing that your world will open up. And that's how I want to encourage my students too, and give them support for that. This fall, I had to create a winter-themed painting. I talked a bit about that in the previous video. It's now finished, but not here, because it's in the exhibition at the moment, and the exhibition is winter-themed. That was a real challenge for me. I made a colored pencil study for my journal to figure out what kind of composition could I have, what kind of style could I use to make it. Even if this is not winter themed, it's a sort of background study for it. And then I had to dig up some winter memories and such, that I got inspired enough to create that painting. I'm actually quite pleased with that painting, and what surprised me there is that even if it's very abstract landscape, I would say, it still has a flair of fairy tale. It seems like it's a winter scenery in a book of fairy tales. See how Winter Angel and that scenery come from the same source, even if this is just colored pencils on smooth watercolor paper, and that's a medium-sized oil painting. And they serve a different purpose, but still, when I think about them in the eyes of my creativity, it feels like they come from the same source. I've just finished the series of 10 paintings that I made this fall, and I'm beginning a new series soon. I'm going to examine my relationship with illustrative stuff and fairy tales and things like that, stories, I would say. With all this, I just want to say that you shouldn't think that when you do one thing you exclude another, because our creativity takes different kind of inspiration, and our hand needs a lot of practice too. And when you do all that, gradually you will start to see what kind of world you are building and how all the bits and pieces connect together. And you can also expand your world all the time. Take challenges that feel a little uncomfortable and then tie them with things that really inspire you and keep you playing. I have been very busy for these past couple of months. I realized that my colored pencil journal that I usually fill quite regularly, I haven't created anything here. But I have an idea for the journal for next year. Namely, when I created the class called Fun Botanicum, which is a class about drawing plants in colored pencil. And these plants are not just botanical plants, but also imaginative, for example, fruits here. For all the time that I've been art journaling, and that's something like 10 years, more than 10 years, I hadn't realized that I can create chapters in my journals. So for that class, Fun Botanicum, I created a chapter for my journal. So there's a cover page, and then there's a back cover page too. And now I thought that why didn't I create chapters for every year, so that when I create a new spread I could see when the year changes. So I'm definitely going to create a cover for 2023 and then start creating pieces after that chapter cover. I don't know why I didn't realize that earlier. So I definitely want to have that for the next year. This month I had a lovely event. It was just a small sales event. Our town has a society for professional artists, and the artist society organized a Christmas sales event, and I had a small table there, and I really enjoyed building that table, and I really enjoyed being in that event. Because I nowadays paint mostly in oils. I digged out some old watercolor paintings and sold them in sale price. And then I also had made cards for my paintings, small cards like this, but then also bigger cards that have a satin finish. You see, they don't shine so much, but they're just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. These are made from big paintings, and it just felt so wrong to try to put a big painting in this small picture. So I decided to take a risk and create these kind of bigger cards, and it was a really good idea. I also wanted my colored pencil love to show, so I printed a few cards that show my colored pencil work. And actually the other card that I intended to show you, I realized that it was sold out, so it was so popular, but I will put a picture here. I also have a blog post about how I prepared for this sales event. So if you are interested in sales events and such, you can read about my method, how I build the table and how I start selling in the sales event. I think that's all for now. I really hope you come to draw all the lovely human figures and their dresses with me. This is one of the projects that we start the class. We create baby dolls and all kinds of lace and pom-poms and such. So I really hope that you will join, and I hope you have a really lovely Christmas. I hope that your new year will be full of art and full of art making too.